I know that it is the end of the afternoon, and I know that you must be exhausted, but you will have one of the best and most refreshing conversation ever with Tony Elumelu. Tony is absolutely fantastic, and you will enjoy the conversation. Tony is a Nigerian entrepreneur and philanthropist, and he is the chair of Shareholders Holding. I don't know if I pronounce right. An African investment holding company founded in 2010 with investment. And this is something you have to listen. In financial services, in power generation, in oil, gas, agribusiness, real estate, and hospitality. What's left? And with this holding, Tony is also the chairman of United Bank of Africa, which operates in 20 African countries, in New York, London, Paris, and Dubai, and the chairman of Transcorp, which is Nigeria's largest listed conglomerate. But more importantly, or at least as importantly, Tony, you have established the Tony Elumelu Foundation, an Africa-based and African-funded philanthropy dedicated to catalyzing entrepreneurship across Africa. It's safe to say that with all your various involvement, you are probably the one who can best speak about Africa. First of all, my dear friend, I'm extremely happy to welcome you, and I thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Maurice. Good to see you again, too.
No. Maybe one word about Africa. Today, a lot of people have various opinions regarding Africa, but mainly it is complex, it is difficult. There are wars in many regional revolutions, not so much democracy, and a country where there is mainly basic resources. One of the reasons why I have created Africatech is to show that there is another Africa, an Africa which is hidden, that people don't know very well. And I thought that maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the Africa of today.
Thank you, Maurice, and good afternoon, everyone. I am pleased to be here, and congratulations and thanks to you and your co-founders for making this possible. The glass is always half full. It depends on what you see. You can see empty glass or you can see water. But as a business person, an entrepreneur, and philanthropist who invests in people and in businesses across Africa, I know for a fact that there's nowhere you get the kind of returns on investment that you make in Africa. I know that we have the people, I know we have other resources to make it work. Africa is 54 countries. Africa is a continent, Africa is not a country. But most times people see Africa as a country. And so in a continent of 54 countries and also with over 1.2 billion people, you see all kinds in terms of people's behaviors, in terms of challenges, as well as opportunities and prospects. If you look at our demography on the continent, we have the youngest demography in the world, and that portends huge market for business. That also is huge market for labor, and the right labor. That also is a huge market for innovation. And in what we do at the Tony Elumelu Foundation, we say that we want to create our own Steve Jobs out of Africa. And we know that we have energetic people who are very intelligent, dedicated, and want to make a difference. If you look at Africa from the point of view of investment, as I said earlier, there's nowhere you make the kind of returns on investment that you make in Africa. I speak as someone who invests in Africa. We have investment in businesses in over 24 African countries, and we make huge returns on investment. In 2013, our group invested in power sector. We invested in power generation, I don't know anywhere in the world where you invest in power generation because highly capital intensive, that you break even and start making profit from year 2, year 3. It's only in Africa that that happens. So we do have a lot of opportunity, but we also have challenges. But the challenges are not daunting. They are not the kind of things that will make you not want to invest in Africa. If you talk of crime, growing up, I used to read the Guinness Book of Records, and they will tell you the number of crimes that occur in New York every minute. But that does not stop you from visiting New York. That does not stop you from investing in New York. So it's about risk and returns, risk and rewards. And just let's know, and that's why I'm happy that you created this platform for people to know that in Africa, we have challenges, but we have more opportunity, more prospects, and more progress than the challenges that we have on the continent. So Africa is open for investment. The young ones in Africa want to be integrated into the global economic system, and all of us have that responsibility to make it happen.
You coined the term of Africapitalism, and a few minutes ago, we had a conversation with Mark Benioff, and Mark talked a little bit about stakeholder capitalism. And one day you said, capitalism, the way I see it, it's much more than just an investment. So can you tell us a little bit more? And can you elaborate a little bit on this Africapitalism?
It's Africapitalism. So I grew up in Africa, born, bred in Africa, and I've always worked in Africa. I've come to realize that we do have a lot of opportunities. I've come to realize that no one but us Africans will develop Africa. I've come to realize that we must stand, show confidence in our continent for others to even follow. And I've realized that in the 21st century, we should show interest in development from a different point of view. And so all of this, and also investing in Africa and seeing firsthand the power of investment, seeing firsthand how investment can help transform societies, communities, and help alleviate poverty and improve the quality of living and livelihood. That made me to come up with this concept and this thinking that first, Africans must show confidence on the continent, invest in the continent to help propel development of the continent. Two, that our governments must play their own role by creating the right environment that will enable all of us, private sector, to do well. Three, that the success of private sector translates to success for everyone and not just the investors themselves. Or that is what it should be, and no longer about selfish interest or selfish investment. And then finally, that friends of Africa who want to support Africa to develop in the 21st century should rethink how to intervene in Africa. That the days of sitting outside of Africa and formulating policies and programs that you think would be good for Africa is gone. If you want to actually create people who will become in future self-reliant and self-independent. This led to this whole philosophy of Africa, that we need to invest first long-term in Africa, two, in key and strategic sectors of the African economy that will help us to drive the sustainable development, and three, that by so doing, we don't only make profit for ourselves, but make profit for everyone. And so it's a call on people to invest long-term in Africa, in key and strategic sectors that will help us to create economic prosperity. Because economic prosperity will help us to alleviate poverty, will help us to create jobs, will help us to involve our women in the economic activities of the continent. So that is it. So when you, as a private sector person, invest in sectors that don't help to catalyze economic development and growth, you need to rethink. And as private sector, you need to make investment that help to achieve this. So investment in our young ones is Africapitalist. It's you're investing in our young ones because the future of our continent belongs to them. Investment in electricity. because access to electricity is so poor in Africa, helps us to develop Africa. So those are the kinds of investment that we need to make, and government must also play their own role in helping also drive development, helping us to succeed in our economic efforts.
When you are doing so, what is the reaction of the shareholders when they see that you are not looking only for the short-term profit, but for building a company for the long term? You are listed. So how do you manage the expectation of your shareholders?
I think it's enlightened self-interest. Shareholders are very wise now, wiser than ever before, and they know that it's about shared prosperity, mutual destiny. If you do well as a company, you must do good so that you will continue to remain in business. So shareholders these days, they even will ask you, what sustainability efforts are you pursuing? What are you doing to help the environment? What are you doing to help people and co? I am a democratizer. I believe in prosperity for one, prosperity for all. And that is what we're beginning to see in Africa and the rest of the world. People are no longer as selfish and self-centered as it used to be before. People are realizing that if you go alone, you will suffer. What we do at the Tony Elumelu Foundation is the expression of our belief in our young one. It's also the realization that it's not just about us alone. It's not about the money we have in our bank accounts, our bank balances. It's about the legacy that we make. It's about the impact we create. And in our own little way, we're helping to catalyze this kind of behavior across the continent. So people, it's not just about the progress or prosperity you create for yourself and your family alone. It's about what you do for everyone. Because we are realizing, and others are following suit, that prosperity for all is what will give us the security that we need. It's what will create the harmony that we need. It's what will create the peace that we need. And that is what is good for legacy and for everyone.
So this is what led you to create the foundation, because the foundation has a slightly different role, if I understand well. Can you tell us a little bit? That
intersection of business and philanthropy is important. We have long realized that in our own group, and that's why, as far about 13 years ago, we founded the Tony Elumelu Foundation. Because we realized, looking at our own life story, I in particular, I'm a child of luck. And I asked myself, since it's no longer about the prosperity you create for yourself or your family, but the prosperity you will create for everyone, what legacy am I leaving behind? The luck that I benefited from, am I democratizing that luck? Am I creating opportunity for others to consider themselves lucky? That was why in 2010 we founded the Tony Elumelu Foundation to help young African men and women who are ambitious, who are determined to succeed, who are energetic, but who lack the means and opportunity to even prove their concept, to give them support. $5,000 non-refundable seed capital. Everyone, we select 1,000 of them every year on our own. I'll give them this $5,000 non-refundable seed capital. We train them. We appoint mentors for them. We create networking opportunities and platform for them. And they've been doing well. They've been succeeding. We're excited by their successes. We're also preaching this to others. And we today have been able to mobilize a lot more support for young African entrepreneurs through this program. So that is what I was talking about before on Africapitalism. It's no longer about Africans sitting and donor organizations come to Africa to give you money to invest in different sectors, but this is all saying we need to develop entrepreneurs. We know how to develop entrepreneurs. Let's partner to develop more. We have put our money into it. Come, let's work together. And quite a number of world organizations are coming together. UNDP is our partner. ICRC is our partner. The European Union, European Commission is our partner, Google is our partners, and US government, and all of these people all working with us.
You have everyone.
No, we don't have publicists yet.
I would like to come back to the program that you have developed. In 2015, you committed $100 million to create 10,000 entrepreneurs across Africa over the next 10 years, which means 2025. There is still 2 years and something left. How the program is working? Are you happy with the result? How many entrepreneurs have you already been able to help and create and develop? And do you feel happy with that program?
I think talking about happiness, as a business person, I think my colleagues and I have done very well in terms of success in business. But what gives us greater satisfaction, happiness, and pride is what we have done in impacting lives in young African entrepreneurs, young African men and women. We have today impacted or supported over 18,000 beneficiaries, each of them with non-refundable seed capital of $5,000. Men and women. In fact, it's even last year we had more females, 70% females than 30% men.
That's good. Mesdames, messieurs, 75%.
70% last year, women.
That's really impressive.
And 30% men. When we started, it was 70 male and 30 female, but it's reversed. But that shows a lot. Our women are being encouraged. They are stepping forward, and they're doing very well. The program is succeeding. But apart from those who have collected, who have benefited financially, we have trained over 1 million young African entrepreneurs. We have talking of technology, talking of tech for good, we have over 1 million young Africans that we have trained on our digital platform called TF Connect. TF Connect, we train young African entrepreneurs on how to manage business so that when they get money, because capital is not about everything. In addition to capital, or besides capital, you need to know how to run businesses. You need to know how to adopt certain discipline and philosophy that have helped successful people. For instance, we teach them what we call TOE, what we do in our group that's helped us to succeed. So we do all of this to support them. So it's not just the 18,500 that have benefited directly from us, it's also the over 1 million young Africans that we have trained. And from our M&A reports, they tell us that, yes, capital is good, but more importantly, that they like the business education, the training, and the discipline, and the hand-holding, and the mentorship we provide for them. So I would say that the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program has done very well. We have 2 years ago. We are now trying to build bigger coalition of like-minded global institutions so that we go beyond supporting thousands to millions. Africa, young Africans, they want to succeed. They want to leverage technology for good. They want to make sure, and we also want to make sure that it's not just technology for good, but technology for all, that all young ones have access to all of this. We want to create more prosperity so that our young people don't take to immigration. Our young people begin to see success and future for themselves on the continent. And when we say that the future of Africa belongs to young people, we want them to see it. Let it not just be a cliche. We want them to see that indeed the global world and Africans, successful African or private sector Africans, actually care about their future. And that's what we try to do at the foundation. So yes, I'm happy by what we have accomplished, but we can do a lot more because in a continent that economy of 1.3 billion people, 60% under the age of 30, and we are talking of 18,000 beneficiaries, is peanuts. We should be talking of millions. And until we achieve that, I won't say that we have done so much.
Tony, one last question. I know that we are time out, but there is one question which is extremely important. I asked you to go back to 2015. I'm now asking you to go back much earlier, when you were at the age of 15. You are now one of the most successful, if not the most successful African. You are an achieved man with a lot of success. When you think about the adolescent of 15 years ago, of 15 years old age, and you look at the room and you want to give a piece of advice, what would you say?
It's not just a piece, some nuggets. First is, I want to say that discipline, hard work, tenacity, resilience, focus are extremely important for success in business. I believe we have tech entrepreneurs in this room, and even those who are not tech entrepreneurs, these principles apply to everyone. In my career, in my journey, it's been a journey of discipline, focus, making short-term sacrifices for a better future, working very hard, and being extremely resilient. Because I say to entrepreneurs, that journey is not linear. That journey is tough. It's a difficult journey. But you can't stop. You can't be scared. You can't be put off. You have to be resilient. You have to, at times, it can be challenging and daunting. You drop, you pick up, you start again. Keep your eyes in the long run. Just know that in the long run, most things, so long as you're determined and tenacious, things will come true. And for those also, since this VivaTech platform, I say to people, those who do business entrepreneurs who fail to embrace technology are preparing or planning to fail. And as entrepreneurs, you should be building to last. I also say, and especially for the young African entrepreneurs here, and also investors who may be looking into Africa to invest, I invest in people and businesses across all 54 African countries. I see the potential in Africa. And I also have seen and realized through my own experience this transformative power of technology to lift Africa up and to even help entrepreneurs and communities in coming up with solutions that can even make you more successful from financial point of view. So please, do not be deterred by what you read. Do not be scared by what you see at times on television. We live in Africa. We have made good success out in Africa. And you too can have similar opportunities. But the difference lies in how tenacious you are, in how focused you are, in how disciplined you are, and how you commit to the long term. Because short term, to a large extent, short-term measures and approaches don't lead us far in life and in business. That's my advice.
Thank you. Thank you very warmly. Merci. And please, a warm, warm, warm round of applause. Thank you.